The latest on the case of an internationally known man arrested in Green Bay. 65-year-old Steve Preisler was charged in Brown County Court today with maintaining a drug trafficking house and manufacturing illicit drugs. As we reported, he's known locally and internationally as Uncle Fester, an amateur chemist who has written and published books about making illegal drugs and explosive. Brittany Schmidt following this case today with the criminal complaint. We're learning more. So we know what took place on Friday, but what we didn't know until today is how it all went down.
Right, so this was back in, according to the 19-page criminal complaint, so very lengthy. They talked about how they had some controlled buys by investigators back in June, 2 of them. They were under surveillance the whole time. This person went in, asked to buy what they thought was meth. They bought it, and then they tested positive for meth. So that happened twice. And then they got a search warrant for it, and they executed that on Friday. So Preisler, he was actually in a car when he was done. He was taken into custody at a traffic stop to get him away from the home. And then authorities went into the home, and they found a lot of stuff.
All right, let's specifically get into what they found in a lot, because here we keep saying over and over again, he's known to law enforcement. He's known internationally. They know this is happening, but why was it, or what did they find, and how was it so concealed in there? If everybody knew about it, what did they find in there that speaks to the fact that they didn't have anything until now?
And talking to neighbors, there were people going in and out of that home a lot, and there were even people living there that obviously were not on the deed or anything like that. But what I've been told and what I'm looking at in the criminal complaint is that the basement was under lock and key.
Okay.
He was the only one who had access to the basement, and that's where they found open containers of chemicals. They found equipment there that is consistent with an illicit drug lab. A meth lab is what he had down there, according to this criminal complaint. But they also found, you know, they have some numbers in here about how many grams of meth they found.
Right, that's what I wanted to ask you about.
Of cocaine base. So here in the criminal complaint, they say that the average user of methamphetamine can be 0.1 grams to 1 gram a day. Okay. The amount of meth that they found, this average user could have meth from 328 days all the way to nearly 9 years. Enough of a stash for an average user of meth.
So it was, how much did they find? 300 and...
They found 319 grams of meth in the basement.
Okay.
And that could last the average user anywhere from a year to 9 years.
All right, so we know his initial court proceeding just kind of wrapped up. Where do things stand right now? Any idea on the bond and all that?
Yep, so he's on a $100,000 bond. He did talk today. He was via video. He basically said, "I'm stunned by what's in the complaint. He calls them bogus charges. He plans to fight and hire his own attorney." So he's being held on a $100,000 cash bond. He will be back in court on August 2nd. And again, he was one of 6 people arrested. There were others in court today that were there for drug charges as well.
All right, Brittany, thanks so much for that update.